Good morning and welcome back to my channel. Last week's video I talked about testing out materials on different paper types as a suggestion, and a few people came back and said that would be a great idea. So that will be out either this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, or it will be next Friday's video. You can probably hear from my voice, I'm still a bit ill. I haven't been myself all week, but what I did manage to do is create a kind of revised color palette. So I put together a palette in this roll bag. This is a sewing pattern I have available on my personal website if you're interested in making your own. But I put together a palette for Morocco. I'll link that video up here if you haven't seen it. And then for that video, I actually used photos of Morocco to put together the palette. And this is the Morocco sketchbook. It's not finished yet, but within it, this was the kind of like mood board I used to pull together a palette. Now, for this particular kit, so I only just changed this a couple of days ago while I was feeling because I was like, okay, I'm over the Morocco palette. I want a palette inspired by some of the work I've been doing in Emma Carlisle's Patreon, where she says about gathering colours that really inspire you. I'm not very organised today, clearly, because I should have had these already. So this was me playing with different materials and here, and just trying to learn. Like, we all know I love orange and pink, but I can't just work with orange and pink, right? This is a palette I put together. We have a combination of different brand pencils. We have watercolor pencils, Tombow brush pens. I am trying to use up my Tombow brush pens because they just kind of like layer on. So I've had a bit of a rejig. I've got two of the pencils that I love. This are pink, neon pink, Molotow marker. These are a combination of two Neocolors, and in here we have two art toolkits, one of which you've not seen because it only came this week. Let's take the toolkits out because they will need to dry after being swatched. So my plan is to just swatch this all out with you so you can see what I've put together. And I don't have long because there's a live article this morning that I want to be ready for, which is why I thought I'd do this now, because it'd be kind of like a warm-up. So you've seen this before. This is my art toolkit pocket palette, which I got sometime last year. I love it so much. So this is mostly, these were the colors that I took to Morocco, and I love these colors, but I wanted more variety in my actual kit here. So we have these, which we'll swatch out, and we'll just do it up in the corner because you don't need to see in depth on those. You've seen them before. And then these feature, these three are the ones that Yulia gave me, which you would have seen in my art haul video. This is a combination of Perlin Maroon Gouache with, no, sorry, change that. It's alizarin crimson gouache with Perlin Maroon watercolor on top, because the gouache cracked, kept falling out. So I was like, okay, so that's a combination. It's a bit weird, but never mind. And this is Holbein's ash green gouache, and the white, of course. This is the tiny demi palette. I managed to find someone, I think I've mentioned them before, they're called Splendid, down in somewhere in the South Netherlands. They had this tiny little palette without anything else. It was about 20 euros. And I had so many of these pans from my first purchase last year. So I got that to put the luminous ones in, and I love it so much. It's really cute, so I could just go out with these. I'll do a separate color mixing video for this so you can see how it works. I've got paintbrush here somewhere. Where did I put it? There. But a little trick, I've got this gorgeous old bottle that used to have this liquid in that my fiance loves, and I now keep, it's such a lovely bottle, I keep it here for water on my desk, so when I'm like, oh no, I need fresh water, I can just grab one of the mini pots and I have it to hand. So to start with, I'm going to swatch out these colors very quickly. I'll probably put this bit on time lapse. The original. I don't normally do it in that way when I'm swatching, but and then this is the mini palette. Okay, I'm gonna go in with the Tombows next because those are a wet material of sorts. So I have a collection of greens, which I enjoy using at the moment. I might be going into my nature era, 133. That one is 126. And this one is 098. I think this one is called Avocado. I've had this one for years. Then we have the blues. that is 452, and then we have 533, which is more of a sky color, I think. And I love both of those. This one I think is a bit too bright for me, but I can tone it down, so it's fine. We have 3 warm colors, like yellowies. These are really pretty. I'm making this example image up. I have no idea what it is. 991. Oh, I forgot to tell you the blues. Sorry. The bright one is 452, and the more ultramarine pale is 533. And then this one is 025. Imagine that's like a cornfield or something. Okay, and then look how they layer. And then of course there's an orange, 933. Multi-layering there. We also have, before I forget, the red Ecolina pen, the vermilion. This is really juicy and I love it, but it's really bright. So I'll do that here like it's a poppy field. And that's why I've added it in. I just love that bright, pizzazzy, oof, yummy colour. There we go, those trees are surrounded by poppies. Terrible example, but it does the trick. We've got a pale 990. This one is quite a neutral. You can put anything on the top of it kind of colour. So like maybe this is a building here actually. Oh, I feel like there's another colour hiding. There's a bright yellow hiding. I didn't realise I'd put this in light yellow Ecolina. I'll blend that one a bit. And I need to put that in a spot where I'm going to see it. And then I have a couple of greys. So we have the N89. And this is just in case I want to get other colours down, but with a base. Because sometimes I do that and it's great texture. That's N95. This one's N79. I don't really carry the black one with me anymore. Okay, so those are all my brush pens in this kit. So I love brush pens because you can layer them and add more tonal value. So like if I put this over here or over here, you can still see the base color underneath. That's actually quite a dark one. I wouldn't normally use that one. Can you see how it's just changing the tone? Like it's making the brush pen, the watercolor underneath just a bit darker. I also love them for putting down like a block of color. So over here on this page, that's what I've done here. I put brush pens down on top of pencil, I think. I can't remember. And here as well, I put the Neo color on top. Or maybe it was vice versa. So let me just put a big blob of... and let that dry, because Neo colors you do need to let them dry for a bit. While we're waiting for that, let's do the watercolor pencils so you get an idea of these. So this one is Ultramarine Fire. I'll brush them out after. Dark Indigo, you saw these last week's art haul video. I told you I've been loving these and using them quite a lot, which is why they're in this kit. This is Night Blue. So these are all the Cahandash Museum Aquarelle, apart from the Dark Indigo, which is Polychromos Alberdura. Sorry, that one was light blue and light cobalt blue. And my favorite is the orange. What I find really interesting about this kit that I've put together now, let's do the lilac violet-y one. Oh, look at those, they're so pretty. Is I'm just going to dab some of that off, otherwise it's going to take forever to dry. And I have an art session soon. About a year ago, I was doing, maybe longer than that, I'll find the sketchbook out in a moment and show you. But I was doing a Sarah Van Dongen session. Oh, look at that. Oh, doesn't that just, that's just, I love that. You can see how like the colours are, you know, there's a couple that you might say that these are a bit obscure, but I think they work for my needs. With that in mind, let's throw this pink in so that we don't feel like it's completely all random. This does not like water. Love this pink, as I said last week. So this is my February 23, February 24, so it's 2 years ago now, sketchbook. And gosh, it's really old. Where is the page? Sarah Van Dongen. Maybe it's not the sketchbook. Ah, there it is. So she had this thing where she was like, take your favorite colors and work with them, and blue and orange have for a long time been my favorite colors, but I felt like this was too obvious. This is in September 2023. It's amazing to see now and think how my work has changed. Oh, I should go back to this place and redo it. I need to get my big sketchbook out again. Yeah, I think I felt that it was too obvious, which is why this palette makes more sense, because there's more variety. It's not just blue and orange. So Neo colors. So I have a mix in here. Oh, you haven't seen these because these were new as well. Those came with the art toolkit. So let's do the NC ones. I have a selection of NC ones in here because I am obsessed with them at the moment. So we've got this green. I think this is the malachite, yeah. Then we have the olive, light olive. And these are the NC ones, so the non-water soluble variety. This is the regular olive, I think. Yeah, regular olive. So you can see there's continuity with this palette, okay? We have the red, just the regular yellow. We have the Sahara yellow. This is such a pretty yellow and it's really nice for layering. Then we move into a pinky salmon, actual pink, and we have the light cobalt blue, which I think everyone is aware of because it's just the loveliest blue. That's the same as this one as well that I've washed out. And then the grey, light grey. So those are my NC ones. Then let's separate those with, these are the Neo Arts. So obviously I got the orange and the light cobalt blue. And what I'm looking forward to these, I'm not going to review them or talk about the pluses or minuses because I've literally only just got them. But I read or I heard that they don't melt. They're less likely to melt compared to Neo colours when you're out in the heat. So if I only ever take 2 with me, those will be the 2 that come. Then we have Neo Colour 2s, which are water soluble. And these are obviously a lot softer than the Neo Arts and the NC ones. They just go down so creamy. Everyone loves these. You've seen these before, I'm sure. But aren't they just, look at that combination of colours. I can't tell you the colour names because I broke them months ago. I think my cat's trying to play outside my room. You can come in, Artemisia. Greens, they're very, very slightly different. This is more green, this is more warm. You can see how these line up with the actual materials that I have in here. Oh, that's a bit dainty, that one. Periwinkle. I know it's periwinkle because I love that one. This one is like cobalt blue as well. We have a grey and we have a couple of white pieces as well because you always need white for putting over stuff. And there you have it. That's my tin of Neo colours that fit in here perfectly because this was designed to fit that tin. This is a standard 15 tin, so it will hold 15 full Neo coloured crayons. And then we're left with the pencils. I feel like I should bring you down a little bit. So there's quite a few pencils in here because pencils, I love pencils. So I'm going to start with the darkest, I think. Let's start with this, the obvious are pencils for drawing. I have got Blackwing matte pencils, but I have no idea where they've gone. I had one that was in my other pencil kit. Maybe I left it in the UK, it's quite possible. Anyway, I love these pencils. They allow me to draw in a loose manner. Then we have a standard that I use. This works over quite a lot of stuff. It's the Pip oil base. I've got extra soft here, but I also have like the hard. I prefer the extra soft. Such a great dark, and it works over like when people say things don't go over the Neo colours, they do. You just got to choose the right thing. I need to get some more of these. Then this is one that everyone, and by everyone I mean the illustrators that I follow, talk about. Again, it's a Doe and Inktense. I've had these for years. I got these when I was studying my fashion degree program back in the early 2000s, but I just never used them much. And everyone talks about the bark being great for going over stuff as well. And it's true. So because it's a watercolour pencil, you see how lovely and dark that is. You can also, and the colour changes once you add the water. Like so. But it's got a lovely richness to it. So that's the bark. Then, I should have shown you this one as well under the watercolour bit. This is the grey, Warm Grey 2. And this one I showed you last week. I like to use it for outlines or for marking in what I'm doing, because it does just disappear when you add water. Look, it's pretty much gone. So it's like, I call it my magic pencil. Then, okay, we'll work from the top now. So the way that I've configured this is over time it has the fabric, it's a waxed cotton, so it has stretched slightly. So for some of these I can actually fit 3 pencils in. And this is Pablo's Umber. Then we have Van Dyke, which I think was also Pablo, yeah. And then this is Warm Grey Durant Drawing. Like if I just wanted to do a tonal drawing of those, aren't they a great combination? That's kind of how I've tried to group them for the most part. I mean, they might be slightly messed because I have been using this throughout the week. Then we have two basics that I always draw with. We've got the dark indigo from Luminance, and we have the dark indigo from Faber-Castell Polychromos. This is going over that water Albert Dürer grey that I watered out. Then we have two more Derwent drawings, Olive Earth and Green Shadow. Beautiful. And then we have Olive Drab, which is a Holbein. It's very similar to the Derwent drawing, but it's a different texture. It's a harder pencil. Fir Green by the same Holbein. Then we have Earth Green. Yeah, Polychromos. I actually have two of these, which is why it's in, because it's quite similar to this one in some ways. But I had two of these and it wouldn't fit in my other tin. So Opal Green, Holbein. I love this colour. This is Lime Green Colour Soft by Derwent. Look at that. Very similar to this and this. I seem to have a lot of greens. And then in terms of blues, outside of these, I've only got, this is the Celadon, which is a greeny blue. Look at that. I've been using this one a lot lately. And then this is the Sax Blue. I just found that other blues didn't really fit within the palette, which is interesting considering I wanted to focus on oranges and blues. I did have these as well, acrylic markers and this one, but I took them out because I just found that I wasn't really likely to use them. If I wanted to, I could bring this along because it's small enough to fit in, but I haven't missed it this week. Where do we get to? Okay, then we've got some like reddy browns. So we've got the Burnt Sienna by Luminance and the Burgundy by Holbein. Then we have some pinkies. This is Shell Pink Holbein, Rose Pink Holbein. Look at that. Oh. So I probably could have added more Polychromos in here. It's just I want to keep that set separate. So I worked with every other pencil top that I've got. Azalea. This one I love. Look at that. Oh. Like these pinks are in here because the colour makes me go, oh, salivating. Then we have, this is like an apricot from, I did have the Luminance apricot in here, and then I was like, well, I might as well put this one in because it's narrower so I could fit more pencils in. This is Caran d'Ache Pablo. Then we have beige red Polychromos, again because this one's a spare. Originally I had Holbein's Ash Rose, but it doesn't fit as well with the set, so we've got this one. And then we've got sand, which is a kind of, it's an odd colour. Sometimes it looks cream, sometimes it looks green. It depends what it's next to. And then we're on to my oranges. I have 4 because you know what I'm like. Let's do them in terms of light to dark. This one is Orange Glaze, my all-time favourite from Polychromos. Oh, look at that. Then we have, this is Tiger Lily from Holbein. See, there is a difference between them. Then we have, oh, hang on, let's do the Pimento, Colour Soft Pimento, which is kind of like a more rusty orange. And then we have Vermilion, which is Holbein, and it's more of a red. So we've only got really one blue in there. I'll take a photo and I'll show you what it looks like as tonally, like lights to dark. But when I squint my eyes, I can see we've got dark, 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 dark. Got some mids here, and then this is quite palish, pale, 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 pale. So that's my entire art roll kit put together. I was going to also show you how I like mix things up, putting colours on colours, but I feel like that would be better to do in the next video, just because this section is already 9 minutes and I've got to, oh gosh, the cool starts in 10. So this is the opal green that I love, but you can see how, like, it's really bright by itself. Not really bright, but you know, like, but when you layer it over, of course the undercolour is going to affect how it looks, and I love that it's really changeable based upon what's underneath it. Some colours you notice it more with, some you don't. And then I've been layering the azalea on top and just playing with colour layers, really. Been enjoying it a lot. So what I'll do is I'll have another video on colour mixing the small palette, because I think it won't make many variations, but I think that might be fun. And then I'll have also because people are interested in the luminous colours, this one, and this one. So I think that might be a nice one to do. And I think in that I'll also include a bit more play with the granulating Holbeins as well, because people are pointing out that they need more water. I know that, everyone knows that. You need water for granulating colours so they can disperse. But I had done them on my Royal Talons book, so that, because that's the book that I'm more likely to take out and about. But I will also use them on 100% cotton paper if I can find some in my stash. I know I've got some in my stash, I just need to find it, so you can see what they're like as well. And we'll do like a bit of colour mixing play, and then I will be testing, so I'll do like a series of different things using just these materials on different sketchbook papers, because I've started ripping pages out of sketchbooks to put together a little booklet that then we can play with these on to see how they differ per paper type. I hope that was interesting to watch. I had fun. I love switching out my supplies. I find it very therapeutic, and I feel like that's a good, you know, we could say that this yellow and this yellow are maybe a bit out of sync. We've got the brighter yellows here. We don't have any yellow pencil actually, but that's fine, because I think if I was going to use these yellows, I would have them as is, or I might put something on top of them for a bit of texture. You know, I'm not generally a yellow person. I'm more likely to go for an orange. Yeah, so hopefully you found that enjoyable. I'm sweltering in this tiny little room, so I'm going to go and get a fresh cup of coffee ready for my call. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, one thing I do want to say, sorry, because I did have these initially, the Nightshade and Wild Lavender, but what I found while I was colour swatching elsewhere, like, let me show you what this looks like. Okay. If I mix, oh gosh, I've got to remember, I think it was the Luminance, and was it burgundy or was it azalea? I feel like it might have been azalea, or maybe it was the burgundy, but I felt like I pretty much nailed a dupe by mixing the two together. Can you see how similar that and that is? And if I get the white on top, we kind of get the lavender. So I ended up evicting those to make room for other colours. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in another video either over this weekend or next Friday. Cool, take care, bye.